If you're driving, please remember to use your car's Bluetooth speaker while listening to the AM Drive. Sports talk is not worth your safety or the safety of others.
Grab your popcorn and sit back.
Jump the gun. Oh, no, give me more than that. Okay, go this way. That was dumb. We are.
How could I tell you when nobody wants to? Your faded words I will choke.
Happy Monday to everyone in the sports universe. It is June the 27th, 2022. This is the AM Drive on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook, and we are live. For Semi Action, I am Michael Carvelis saying, what's up, thumbs up, say hey.
Hey, good morning, Michael. What a wonderful weekend of sports we had.
Yeah, and I wasn't expecting it considering lacrosse is done, NBA is done, but there was some good stuff we can talk about here.
Yeah, like maybe, I don't know, the Stanley Cup champion Colorado Avalanche. Woo!
Oh, Lord. Boo! I've got some thoughts on them, but yeah.
Hey, it was two good games over the weekend. You don't get, two good playoff games always enjoyable regardless of who wins.
Agreed. Sammy, who's got the best morning show, though?
These guys.
Woohoo! Everybody here, everybody watching, that's right, it's part of the AM Drive. In order to support our show, shop our cheap merchandise at amdrive.online. We are so confident it's cheaper than your favorite podcasts or second favorite podcast that we'll price match it for you if you see merchandise cheaper than ours. That's how confident we are. Go to amdrive.online, support this show today, and wear and drink our faces. Sammy, what is your worst of the weekend?
Oh, man, starting off on a bad foot. My worst of the weekend was that ridiculous brawl in the Angels versus Mariners baseball game, which ended in Rafael Iglesias taking a handful of sunflower seeds and gum and throwing it on the field. And, 8 people get ejected, two managers. I mean, come on, guys, what are we doing? We're professional sports athletes, right? That's what the narrative is supposed to be, that these players are the best of the best of the best. And they're just acting a fool. I mean, I like a good fight as much as anybody in these sporting events, but that was just ridiculous. Nothing actually gets accomplished in these baseball brawls. It just looks ridiculous. The whole game got ruined because of it. Come on, be better.
The brawl happened in the second inning, and the game ended 2-1. To your point, it got boring.
Yeah, I think the top 3 hitters for the Mariners got tossed, and Rafa Iglesias, as well as a couple hitters from the Angels got tossed. It just made the whole game unwatchable from that point forward. And the ball wasn't even good. It was over nothing. I mean, come on.
I just don't like when baseball players, when benches clear. Like, to me, each team should get docked a game if they're both doing that. Like, it's not right. It's not fair to me. It's not professional to me when you're at a baseball game and you clear the bench to fight. I think the entire team should get knocked the game. It's just stupid.
I wouldn't disagree. The NBA implemented rules about leaving the bench during these, brouhahas and
scuffles.
I don't know. I just don't feel like it matters anymore. Like back in the old days, throwing inside and hitting a player and then getting into a fight over it, like, used to cause you not to do it anymore. That's not the case anymore. Now they just do this and it doesn't seem to accomplish anything. Nobody actually learns anything from it, and they just look foolish. And then at the end, when you're throwing stuff on the field, I mean, you tell fans don't throw things on the field, and you have baseball players coming out and throwing things on the field just to make a mockery of it. I mean, it's just a bad look for the MLB and, bad look for baseball in general.
And one last thing, I could count like 5 people. I could count on one hand the amount of people that were actually trying to make peace and trying to hold people back. That was how bad it was. It was just stupid.
Yeah, there always is a few peacekeepers, but their efforts are usually far overthrown by people who just get caught up in the moment. But they shouldn't be getting caught up in the moment. We should be better than this.
They're grown-ups.
They're supposed to be.
Yeah, my worst of the weekend is Russell Westbrook, who finally clapped back at Skip Bayless and he used Twitter to do so. Westbrook is mad that Skip Bayless calls him West Brick, And no offense, but when you're shooting about 44% from the field, Steph Curry shot 43%, but we want to know. Anyways, Russell Westbrook shot 44% from the field, and he had some ugly misses, so Skip honestly called it West Brick. I wrote an entire article on LinkedIn about it, about what, like, because Draymond Green's talking about the new media and how the old media is, pushing all these insults. Dude, you play sports, you're subject to people's opinion. If Skip did not call out your family, like, he didn't do anything out of bounds, he called you Westbrook. Ooh, man, give me a break. Russell Westbrook firing up a storm. Oh, who's going to win in a fight, Skip or Russ? Just shut up, dude. Call the guy. Come on, man.
I mean, if Westbrook really wants to, if he wants to clap back, why not just go on Skip's show and talk some trash to him? Right, back in the day, people would go on and actually get in a face-to-face discussion. I'm not saying go Jim Effort on the guy, but get on the show and talk some smack back. Give him some reason to respect you. I mean, yeah, this whole keyboard warriors, talking behind
say it to my face.
Yeah, just get on the show. Let's talk about it in person. You think I'm not a good basketball player? Tell me why.
Right.
I don't know.
It's sad. What is your best though?
My best, well, I mean, obviously it's easy to say hockey, as I've been, touting hockey all playoff season, but I'm gonna go a different direction. For me, it's gonna be College World Series baseball. Ole Miss was the last at-large team to get into the tournament. That's the equivalent of like Memphis in the basketball tournament, the 9 seed in the basketball tournament. And they made it all the way through, played the juggernaut that is Oklahoma, which is the equivalent of playing like Duke or Gonzaga. And they had to beat them twice, right? Oklahoma hadn't lost the whole time. It's double elimination tournament. And Ole Miss came in there and swept Oklahoma in both games to win the World Series title. It's just an astoundingly huge upset. Pure David versus Goliath. College baseball doesn't get a lot of press. I'm not even the biggest fan of college baseball, but this was a great story and one that unfortunately is not getting enough airtime. One of the true monumental upsets we've seen in college sports in years.
I'll correlate that to the night in Memphis. I would say like St. Mary's.
Well,
that's like the at-large team.
So I tried to look up the bracket because St. Mary's they won their conference. So they get an automatic bid, right? Ole Miss was an at-large bid. So I picked like one of the teams that was like middle of the road, big conference teams that got in at large. Memphis, I think, was one. Marquette maybe might have been one. They were like 9 or 10 seeds in the men's bracket. That's the equivalent though of how far down Ole Miss was in the hierarchy of college baseball. And to come in and just they lost one game. They played great the whole series, but to sweep the juggernaut that Oklahoma was completely unbeatable the whole bracket and came in and swept them. Was pretty cool to see.
It's almost like if Cincinnati would have actually beat Alabama. How about that?
Yeah,
if Cincinnati would have actually beat Alabama, that would be what this would be.
Yeah, it's that level of upset. Absolutely,
Alabama's the dominant team. They always win. They always have the best players. Cincinnati's got promising guys, but they never find a way to break through, and they beat them anyways.
But they had to beat them twice, which is even more crazy.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
Good point. I like my analogy better. Okay. My best of the weekend. I had a few things to choose from here, but I went with this. Travelers Championship. With all the PGA and LIV talk that's been going on, literally when I use LIV golf hashtag on Twitter, our views skyrocket, which is really incredible for golf. But this week, after the U.S. Open has controversy, got Xander Schauffele at the Travelers Championship. Dude shot 19 under. Ooh. Now, what's crazy about this is like round 3, after he was done, his 5 or 6 stroke lead was dwindled down to 1 because everybody caught fire. Like there was like a bunch of guys with 10 under or better. So finally, Xander stepped up and still kept on dominating. Like we've seen Rory fall off. Even he had a first round lead in this event. It's really cool to see golf guys that give the gas and they keep their foot on the gas because golf is so subject to weather conditions. I know it's supposed to be a beautiful weekend, but you never know what the car that you're gonna be dealt is. And he absolutely dominated. Shout out Xander Schauffele for his 6th PGA Tour win in the best golf league in the world.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to watch much of the golf. I didn't see the crazy minus 19. And to your point, golf is one of those great sports to watch because it's so much pressure on one individual person
Everyone
that watching them crumble under that pressure is great television. But also on the flip side of that, like to your point, watching them overcome that pressure and step up is also great television. So yeah, while I did not get a chance to watch that, I'm sure that was enjoyable. Great best of the weekend though, for sure.
Can't wait. Let's touch on this before we do take a break, because we're going to get on both sides. The Avalanche won the Stanley Cup final. There you go. But there's obviously more. We're talking about Cale Makar did win the MVP. I believe he was the fourth youngest player to do so, and was like one of the youngest defensemen. Like he's a defenseman, like which is even crazier about it. Makar was really good. McKinnon, Landeskog, just so many great young players. And Sammy, the speed stood out. Tampa Bay could not get a shot off. And it wasn't even like they were just being outmatched physically. They just couldn't skate with them. It was phenomenal. The stick work and even just this flat-out skating ability of Colorado to stay in front. It's like I feel like there was times when Tampa Bay could have like a nice little pass back for a goal. And Colorado's like not right there deflecting it once again. It's incredible.
Yeah, the most iconic play of that game last night was when the shot goes off of I want to say it was Landeskog's skate and it breaks his skate on the ice.
Yeah.
And McKinnon has to actually carry Landeskog off the ice to get him off until he can get his skate fixed. He couldn't skate. And that was the level of effort I mean Colorado had on the defensive end of this game. But you're right, to your point. Colorado did not give up any shots the first 15 minutes of the third period. I mean,
it's 90-footer.
Yeah. Tampa needs a goal to tie it up, but they can't even get a shot on goal for 50 minutes. After the first period, I want to say Tampa was ahead in shots on goal, and by the end of the third period, they were doubled up by Colorado. I mean, it was just an outstanding defensive effort on the Avalanche.
I did some research. So apparently, we're going to get to this in the next part as well, but I want to mention it to start here. The Avalanche have tied the NHL record for most wins combined regular and postseason. That's 72. The last time they did it was like 1989 or something like that. There's 4 teams that have done it, but none since 2000. So it's quite a feat. And then you look at the fact, like their power play, I think their power play percentage is like 26% compared to like second place was like 25%. This might be one of the best teams we've ever seen, and we're just not thinking about it yet.
Absolutely. This team was talented. They were the best team from the beginning. I've been touting them since the playoffs began. This is the fastest team I've ever seen, the most enjoyable to watch. They just play so well together. You talked about Cale Makar. Aaron made a great point before the series started that Makar and McKinnon were going to get shut down in this series. You know, the defenseman of Tampa was going to make it their life goal to basically shut these guys down. And he was right. They did. And Makar still scored 8 points in the series, still was the highest scorer in the whole series, even with them throwing everything in the kitchen sink at him. I mean, and he's a defenseman, like you say, just an immensely talented player, fully deserving of the Conn Smythe. And yeah, this team's a juggernaut, and they have more years to come. They're still pretty young. Unbelievably good season for them, and I'm really happy they won. I'm happy for myself because I bet them. So
all right. Coming up next, we'll talk more about them, including Nathan McKinnon, who was spectacular in games 5 and 6. Also, what's more likely to happen, the Avs repeat or Lightning make it back. Plus, Kevin Durant is on the market, supposedly. And we're also going to talk some Deshaun Watson suspension, some actual news about this now. We'll be right back to the AM Drive on Twitter, YouTube, and Mark Zuckerberg. The AM Drive with Mike and Aaron might be the best morning show ever. If you love the show, shop the merchandise for $26 hoodies, $16 shirts, even $13 mugs. High quality swag for cheap because Mike and Aaron love the fans. The best morning show, the lowest price merch at amdrive.online.
This is Popple, the next generation business card. With just a tap, your Popple instantly shares your digital business card to both iPhone and Android devices. The best part? The other person doesn't need an app or a Popple to receive your info. To pop your info, tap your Popple to the top of an iPhone, the center of an Android, or just scan your in-app QR code. And just like that, all your info is saved to their phone. More connections, more leads, more sales. That's Popple. Download our free app and get your Popple today.
Aren't you the Vice Golf guy?
Yeah, you want an autograph?
Yeah. Actually, I was just wondering if the balls are any good.
The balls are amazing. You look like a Pro Plus guy.
I thought you'd never ask. It's actually better than my old ball.
And it's half the price.
Top performing golf ball, half the price. It's almost stealing.
Quit searching the globe and get your high-performing golf balls at vicegolf.com.
Fanatics.com, the world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear from all the leagues, teams, and players you love. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com, officially licensed everything.
You watch your favorite teams and athletes like Cale Makar and the Colorado Avalanche. You want to buy that gear, especially the championship gear. Look no further than MikeandAaronDrive.com. And when you go there, you got to do what?
Click on the F.
That's right. When you click the Fanatics logo, every team from every league is at your disposal. Fanatics also offers daily deals on shipping and more, like today's deal of 65% off site-wide. Let's be real, it probably does not include the championship gear, but you get what I'm saying. There's a lot of other things that you can get on there as well. They're 65% off today. Plus, everything you want is just right there. Go to MikeandAaronDrive.com, click the F, and get shopping. Duh. Listen, it's a great website, man. I got a Kyle Guy jersey. How about that?
Oh, yeah, I remember Kyle from Virginia, right?
Yep, and hopefully he can come on the show this week. I hope his golf tournament went well. I know that was the reason why he eventually could not come on Friday, but hey, I ain't mad. He's a charity guy. Always about that stuff. The Kyle Guy Foundation has golf thing. I hope it went well for him.
Absolutely. I love charities. People who work with charities are good people.
Especially a guy like Kyle. Like I don't want to harp on this too much, but especially a guy like him who is not like the LeBron James or the Kevin Durant. He's just literally a guy who's still trying to basically make it in the big league. He's already made it in life, but he's trying to make it to the NBA period, and he's still doing the charity thing this early. It's really incredible.
Absolutely. I mean, it's never too early to get involved, regardless of whether
Right.
you host your own event or you contribute to others. Getting involved in any charity is always a good thing. I mean, I've been getting involved in charity since I was young. When I was a kid, we used to take toys to the homeless shelter. I mean, that we were in a very rich family, but it's nice to do stuff for other people always.
Fair enough. Well, the Avalanche did win it all, and let's talk about this some more. We talk about maybe they're the best team ever. I don't know if we're not the historians that Aaron Crouch or others are. But this team is incredible. You got Nathan McKinnon, by the way, who was called upon to be good. In games 5 and 6, he was really good, especially game 6. Say, what is your thoughts on the best player on the best team?
Well, I don't know that he's the best player. I mean, I really think Makar has probably taken over as the best overall player for them, both as he won the best defenseman for the year. He won the Conn Smythe for them. He was their leading scorer. But McKinnon is definitely the energy on the offensive side of the ice for them. And he played absolutely great. I mean, he had 7 shots on goal. He was everywhere all over the ice, and he played good defense as well. And he's easy to root for. I mean, here's a guy who goes above and beyond for his team when they need him most. Hockey's not a game where stars carry you as much. At least it doesn't seem that way. And he put them on his back as best he could and made plays happen. He played great in the last 2 games.
Yes, he did. Another thing I want to get to, just a little bit of low jab at the below the belt here against the Avalanche. They got rid of Philippe Grubauer at the expense of my Seattle Kraken, and they got Darcy Kemper, who's 32 years old. I was thinking a little bit on Wikipedia about this dude. This guy came out of nowhere. I mean, like he's always been good. Obviously, the best team traded for him, but I'm like, he was hurt last year, has been around the league. It's like this is like his 4th or 5th team and finally breaks through. It's really incredible how good he was. And he was pulled like 6 or 7 games this playoffs, including one this Stanley Cup. It's really impressive to see his story as well.
I mean, Colorado did an amazing job on defense to not get pucks to him, but he
That's a
made some
good point.
outstanding saves in this game. I mean, there were a few one-timers that were ripped that looked like they were going to be easy goals, and he came out of nowhere and made, very Vasilevsky-like saves in big spots.
Right.
And good for him, man. I mean, Colorado had every opportunity to pull him and start Francouz, who was playing well, and Aaron made the point that having the left-handed goalie might be a little bit different for Tampa, and Kemper played well. He came out, he lost a couple games, but even in Game 5 when they lost, he played really well in that game. He did everything they asked of him and more. I mean, he's not the best goaltender in the league. I don't think anybody thinks he is, but he was good enough, and he played great in Game 6 on the road. I mean, that's a tough place to play, tough spot to play it. He gave up nothing.
You made a good point about the defense of Colorado, because you're right. Let's be fair. Although the first periods were favoring Lightning in shots, the second and third period were an avalanche of Avalanche.
Mm-hmm.
And like Vasilevsky was on his head and toes and knees and shoulders and back and everything you could think of, just trying to stop pucks. And, Darcy Kemper had a few breakaways, but it's like sometimes, like I mentioned before the break, even the breakaways were deflected shots. Like, this team's incredible.
Yeah. There was only a couple of really iconic saves he made in this last game, but there was 2 really big ones. There was a 2-on-1 in the third period.
Yeah, I saw that was huge.
And then the cross ice one-timer with 2 minutes left that looked like it was going to go in. I mean, it was a beautiful play by Tampa.
By Kucherov,
and the guy,
right?
I think it was Stamkos, just ripped it. And
right
on goal, and he just got the tip of his pad on it to deflect it out. But literally, I mean, when I always worry when defenses play really well, goalies tend to lose focus, right? Because they haven't seen a lot of shots. Vasilevsky can't lose focus because he's getting peppered with shots the whole game. But Kemper went 15 minutes without even seeing a shot. But when the moment came, he stepped up and did his job. And, hats off to him.
Getting stoned.
Yeah.
It was also interesting. Vasilevsky had a skate problem, and a mask problem. That was interesting.
Tampa deserves a lot of credit. I mean, I know I've been all over Colorado, and this is 3 straight Stanley Cups they got there. They played great in all 3 Stanley Cups, and you could see the passion and fire was still there. I don't know if you caught it, but they had a camera showing Tampa Bay walking back to the locker room, and this is a team that could easily just pat themselves on the back. Hey, we won 2, we got there a third year. Good run, boys. But no, these guys were pissed. These guys
were slamming across. What the world?
Yeah, I mean they were out there giving it their all. And that's what makes hockey so beautiful in the playoffs. And these guys, they put their bodies, they put their mind, they put everything on the line, and they want it, and they go for it. It was great to watch, and hats off Tampa for a great season.
Amen. Let's get to this destination game. How about Kevin Durant's? This is a little GPS moment here. So there's a 5-team list I have for you, because I've seen these names thrown around. You've got Miami, who is obviously the betting favorite, I believe, according to Bet Online. I don't know if it is anywhere else. I'll assume it pretty much is. No, hell no. OKC, be nice to return, but let's be real, that roster has nothing going for it right now. The posting is just to Chet Holmgren. Like, why would you? Come on. Golden State Warriors, I've seen that float around. Like, I don't think Warriors give a crap about that. The 76ers were intriguing to me because you've got the James Harden effect plus Joel Embiid. I feel like I wouldn't mind trading Joel Embiid to Philadelphia, to Brooklyn, but obviously he wouldn't do that with Ben Simmons. Stay in Brooklyn, maybe. I've also seen Memphis was the one that's throwing around, which I thought would be an interesting facet, but he's not going to Memphis. Sammy, where's he going? I think he's staying in Brooklyn.
Yeah, I think I tend to agree with you. I think he stays in Brooklyn. Although I don't think, based on those teams, right? I don't think he would want to go to OKC. I don't think you made a great point about Ben Simmons being in Philadelphia. I don't think the Warriors want anything to do with him after all the fallout from that. And they came out smelling like roses for getting rid of him. I don't think they want him back. So I would eliminate the middle 3 of your 5 off those points right there. I do think Miami is, if he's going to leave, I think Miami is the place he's going to go. And I do think that puts Miami in a place where they're probably the best team in the East already, adding in one of the best of all time shooters. It's hard to see them not being about the clear-cut best team in the East with that.
Bucks do want their flowers because Chris Middleton was hurt. But I don't know, man. Heat team like they're pretty good against Milwaukee without Kevin Durant. And yeah.
I mean, the Heat beat Milwaukee the year before, even with Middleton, and they gave them all they could handle this year and beat them this year. The Bucks did beat them up last year. I mean, so that's a good rivalry room between these two teams. But adding Kevin Durant, but here's the thing, man. Basketball is no fun when guys like Kevin Durant go to other super teams, right? I like dynasties and I'm all for it, but it's gotten a little bit out of control with basketball. Just build your own team, right? Giannis built his own team with Milwaukee. He doesn't go out and recruit every superstar. He didn't bounce from Milwaukee to go play with another superstar squad. My buddy Tommy Dietz, who a huge Bucks fan, always brings that up, and he's right. Like, Milwaukee's fun to watch because it's their team, right? They built that. Kevin Durant is like a hired assassin. He'll go from this team to that team, this team to that team, all trying to win rings. And it's just not fun to watch when he does it. I've become so disenfranchised with basketball as a whole because of this issue.
James Jones, who's the former Miami Heat sharpshooter, is now the Suns GM, I believe. He said he actually took a low blow at the process. He was like, "Oh yeah, well, they drafted Devin Booker, but it wasn't until we added guys like Chris Paul where we finally got over the top." And I'm like, "Oh my god!" So he apparently he basically was saying he didn't like the draft process. He said he likes the offseason adding players. I'm like, wow.
I mean, it's true.
It's kind of a hard reality.
The most dominant team of the last 10 years is the Golden State Warriors. And with the exception of the adding Kevin Durant, which they did and won with, they've done it without adding Kevin Durant as well with their core guys. And they've been a really fun team to watch when that was the case. The years they had Durant, I don't think they were fun to watch. I don't think they were enjoyable. I mean, they won, good for them. They were dominant, but it wasn't the same type of team. The team this year way more fun to watch than any of the Durant years they were there. And LeBron does it too. LeBron goes to other teams, recruits other players, and you just never grow up together. Right? They never learn to play together, and that's part of what makes Golden State so enjoyable. And that's what is missing when Durant flips teams, or even when LeBron goes to another team. They just don't play well together for a while, and hopefully the talent just overcomes it. And I'd much rather teams build from within and build themselves up than this constant, like, let's go hire this guy for a year to win a title and then be bad. I don't know. I have the exact opposite feeling about football. I want football to go get players. In basketball, I'm kind of over it.
Right. I want your take on this before we get to a topic you want to get to here. Kyrie Irving's wish list includes Lakers, Clippers, Knicks, Heat, Mavericks, 76ers. There's another one where I'm like, why would Philadelphia even want you when James Harden just got exiled there? Mavericks, I don't think that's going to happen, although it'd be interesting. The Heat, he doesn't play defense, not even a willing passer. The Knicks, why? Because you just bounced them for Brooklyn. Clippers would be, I think, the most likely. And then Lakers, if LeBron and he have repaired the relationship. I think Clippers, talk about a hated team, pal. They go right back to being the hated team in the West.
They already are. Nobody likes that team, but
scumbags. Kyrie Irving, that's great.
I think his most likely landing spot actually is the Lakers.
Really?
I think he's basically worn out his welcome in Brooklyn. I don't think they want him back. I could see him going to the Knicks. I actually think that's a pretty good fit for him. I don't know.
Tom Thibodeau?
Brooklyn and the Knicks don't have the same fans, so I don't know that they would hate on him the same way. It's possible. I mean, they're both in New York, so who knows? Right. New York fans can be pretty vocal about the way they feel about people and their beliefs. But I actually think the Lakers are the best fit for him. Right, getting him back with LeBron, where he doesn't have to be the superstar. And he can let LeBron basically carry the ball up the court and do other things as well as still be a point guard. I think it's the best fit for his personality at this point. And they've had success. So I don't know if the Lakers can do what they need to do to get him, which is a whole other issue. But Russell Westbrook's contract's kind of rough on them. So we'll
it's
see.
kind of a schmuck.
Yeah. But Kyrie, I thought to me was the biggest loser for the NBA season. With his whole stands and sitting out and only playing road games, and I think that Brooklyn team was really good, and mostly because of him, they had no chance to win. And so I hope wherever he goes, I'm not rooting for him. I'm not really a fan.
I love it. You must have heard the show a few times. Good. How about this? Sammy Stories. Deshaun Watson may get a 1-year suspension. Sammy, you got a take. I want to hear it.
So here's my thought on this. So the NFL has been trying to control this narrative now since Deshaun Watson settled his cases. And you've kept hearing now for the last week, the NFL is going to go for an indefinite suspension. The NFL is going to go for a 1-year suspension. The NFL is pushing for a lengthy suspension. If you read any headline on Deshaun Watson, that's all you've heard. And my theory is the NFL is trying to save face here. I don't think he's going to get a 1-year suspension. I think the NFL wants the ability to say, we pushed for a longer suspension, but the arbitrator, the collective bargaining process, gave him a 6-game suspension. So we're going to honor the process. We're going to respect the process, but we tried harder for more. And I think that's why you're seeing this leak come out. It's no shock to me that tomorrow is the day of the arbitration hearing with Sue Robinson. She makes the final decision. And the NFL said they're not going to dispute whatever she says they're going to accept. But to me, this is a narrative control game, I think, by the NFL. I could be wrong. He could get a year, but I don't think he does.
More likely 6 games or a year?
I think
6
more
or
like
8?
I would say 8 games is where I think his sweet spot is, based on the arguments I've heard on both sides of this. But I cannot make it clear enough. The NFL wants to be able to say they tried hard for this. They really, really want to save that face.
That's gonna be wild. That's gonna be crazy. I'm gonna end the show there because I don't want to harp on. We got more tomorrow. Tomorrow's Top 5 Tuesday. Baseball, man. Are the Yankees still the best? And are the Astros losing to them the last 2 games make me like them more? Also, I don't know, you want to do another top 5 list, or what are you thinking?
I don't know. I'll text you later. I'll think about it while I'm at work today.
Fair enough. Remember to go to MikeandAaronDrive.com and click on our great sponsors, including our shop, AmDrive.online, the Fanatics logo. For you Avalanche fans, I hate you all. But hey, you guys have a great rest of your day. First, I did it again. I did it to Tony Johnson last week. I'm sorry. Oh, for Sammy Ashton, I'm Michael Carvelis. Good Lord, this is horrible. Have a good one, guys.
Happy Monday, Mike.